Hi, I had an experience this last week. My sister that lives in Texas called me, my half sister, and I've always loved her deeply, and I still love her. But uh, anyway, we were talking, having a normal, loving conversation between a brother and a sister. And then she made some kind of a comment. I don't remember exactly her words, but uh, that was kind of putting Trump down, President Trump down in his debate the other night. And anyway, it was something that she said, and I said, and I shouldn't have said it because I know that um, I don't know how to say it. I don't want to be rude, but uh, she's quick to excite, I guess I should say, in regards to political uh, things. And so she made this statement, and I said, "Oh, you must be watching too much CNN." And that lit her fuse, and she was off. And she was putting President Trump down. Uh, couldn't say anything good about him. And because she was dumping on President Trump, which uh, I love President Trump. And because she was putting him down, I wanted to defend him and some of his actions and different things. And, I said, what about all the good things he's done? All the campaign promises that he's kept and tried to keep. And she just kept, you know, pushing it in my face that he hasn't done anything that he's promised that he would do. He hasn't kept any of his campaign promises, and just how terrible he is, and how terrible he was to Biden during the debates and different things, and that anyway, she just went on and on, and I have to defend if there's something that someone's saying that I feel is wrong, I'll defend it. Whether it's someone saying something to me about my actions about something or a belief that I have, and I think they're unjust in the things that they say, I'll defend it. I'll defend myself, I'll defend my actions. And so I was defending Trump, and she just went crazy. She is, I love her, and but I cannot talk politics with her in a civil, balanced fashion because I just can't do it. She's just not willing to talk about things, and that hurts me because in every other way, she's just a jewel. She's just a jewel of a person, of a sister. But the politics things it unhinges her to a degree that I had to say, let's end this conversation. And we did. And we probably won't be talking to each other for months to come. Just because of a stupid thing like she doesn't like Trump. I do like Trump. Uh, it does irk me that people, not just her, but people think that it's all Trump's fault. I mean, here's my sister telling me that it's all Trump's fault, that Trump refuses to work with the Democrats, when in reality, it's the complete opposite. The Democrats refuse to work for Trump. The Democrats, for the last 3.5 years, has made it so difficult for Trump to do anything, whether it's the building of the wall or this and that and the other. They have fought him tooth and nail, and it's been so difficult for him to do anything or to get anything accomplished, get any thing pushed through Congress and so forth. They've made up false charges to impeach him, the Russian collusion and all the things that they've done. And Trump has been so strong to go through all this. He and his family have been persecuted so much during this last 3.5 years, and they've remained strong, especially President Trump. He's remained strong. People are condemning him about the pandemic thing, COVID-19. In reality, because he closed the people coming in from China and different things, and closed different or European areas and so forth, he saved probably hundreds of thousands of lives, if not millions of lives. And Biden and the Democrats were making fun of President Trump closing the borders early, as he did. Was telling President Trump that he was a racist and blah, 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 blah. And now they're saying that he didn't close them soon enough. You cannot please the Democratic Party. I know that Christ said, "Love our enemies, do good to those that use you or go against you." It's so hard. That is such a hard thing for me to live, and I fail to live those things. And maybe someday that I can, and I'll be able to live those things, but it's so hard for me. When I see the unfairness of the Democrats and the Democratic Party, it just makes me sick to my stomach. The things that they've done and are doing, trying to do. I'm sure by hook or by crook that the Democrats will try to steal the elections, whether it's false ballots or look at what we saw in the last week. I think they found thousands or maybe tens of thousands of ballots that were made out to Trump, people voting for Trump, and they found all these ballots that were stuffed in trash cans and just different things. I mean, I think there was some postal employees, I think, that were selling people's ballots or some dang thing. I can't remember what it was. But there's so much evil going on, and I think that they're probably absolutely almost wetting their pants with excitement over President Trump having tested positive for COVID-19. I mean, 30 days to go to the elections, and our president can't campaign. He can't do the things that a president, trying to be reelected would want to do or should do. Can't do those things now. And, even in 2 weeks, if he's okay, he'll probably still be very weak and so forth. So, meantime, the Democrats have a free reign of going around and talking their crap to people in the United States. Hang on just a sec. That was just one of my girlfriends calling me. I told her I'd have to call her back. She says, "Ron, please, I need to talk to you now." I said, "I don't care. I don't care if you need me now. Who doesn't, you know? Anyway, I told her to call me back. Don't you fret about it. Anyway, where was I? Anyway, um, the Democratic Party is so evil. I mean, the things that they come up with is just unbelievable to me. And this just gives them a more of a opportunity to steal the election, to manipulate different things to their advantage, to for Biden, puppet Biden, to win the election. If the Democrats get in, we might as well just say goodbye to America. I mean, look at how the Democrats have run Democratic cities like Portland. Over 100 days of nonstop rioting and looting and burning. All the Portland mayor, governor has to do is call President Trump and say, "We need your help." President Trump over and over and over has offered to help, to come in and clean the mess up of the rioters and so forth that are not protesting. They're not protesting. They're rioting, they're looting, they're burning, they're destroying a once good city. All they have to do is call President Trump, say, "We need your help." And President Trump will organize whatever it takes, whether it's a National Guard or whatever it takes, and they'll go in and stop that problem. But the Democrats don't want to. They don't care. Hell, they don't care if there's if their cities are being burnt down. There is something really wrong with the Democrat people. Talk about good versus evil. There is really something wrong with the way Democrats think about things. Defunding the police. For crying out loud, you don't need to defund the police. You need to hire more police to take care of these idiots that are causing mayhem in our cities. There's no consequences for their actions. Oh, go in and steal what you want. Who cares if there's people's businesses and livelihoods that are being ruined, and the hurt that these innocent people are going through because of these idiots, these lowlifes that are causing destruction in our cities, and the Democratic, governments of these cities are just letting them do it. Oh, it's a peaceful protest, Look at what happened in Seattle. Oh, it's the summer of love. Finally, the idiot that's running Seattle, called in the police again and different things. The police are afraid to do their job. Look at New York. Look at these idiots. The people that run New York are just so evil. Defunding the police. The police are scared to do their job for fear they're going to be put in jail or put in prison for doing their job. It's a free green light for people to riot, to steal, to burn, to destroy, have complete destruction, and just have a heyday. They want to watch? Go in to Tiffany's or somewhere and take some watches, take some jewelry, take a TV, take this, take that. The police just stand around and watch because they're outnumbered. They're afraid if they do something to one of these loving protesters that they might be put in prison for doing it or lose their pension for doing it. So they just sit around and let the people have their way of being evil. And you people don't mind if Democrats get in and start controlling everything. America, say goodbye to the way that America once was. I remember growing up that we never even had to bother locking our door. If we went to the store, we didn't bother locking our front door. No one was going to come in and steal things or, while we were gone. We didn't bother locking our car door at night. No one was going to, go through our car at night and steal radios out of it and steal cars and different things. But nowadays, it's different, isn't it? It's different nowadays. The America that I grew up in is really over. And if the Democratic Party gets in, you might as well just say goodbye to our freedoms and everything that we hold dear in life. You people out there that are so blind that you don't know what's going on right in front of you, it's sad. My sister, when I was trying to defend President Trump, she wouldn't hear of it. Oh, they have the Proud Boys coming in and causing trouble. The Proud Boys aren't going in and causing trouble. They're going in to have a presence of somebody that's good, patriots. They're not the cause of trouble. There's people that have been so brainwashed from listening to CNN, NBC, CBS, whatever, the regular media channels, that they really believe that stuff. They're so biased. These people in the media are so biased against Trump. The only decent media network that you can listen to is Fox News. Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson, there's many others that are on Fox that tell it like it is, that tell the truth. You won't get the truth on other networks. You just won't. So you people that are so blind, you're going to get exactly what you deserve. If the Democrats get in, you're going to get exactly what you deserve. Instead of 20 cities, or how many cities it is these idiot Democrats are in charge of, and there's problems and looting and rioting in those cities, that's going to be all over the country. Defunding the police, are you crazy? Instead of, if there is a domestic problem, instead of sending the police in when, the guy's bashing the crap out of his wife, or has a gun, is going to kill the family or whatever, don't send police in. Well, no, you don't want to send police in. Send a psychiatrist in. Send counselors in. Let's knock on the door. Book, 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 book. Oh, is this where the disturbance is? What can I help you? Let's sit down and talk about it. Duh. You send the cops in, and if the guy's being a complete moron and an asshole, you send him, you put him in the squad car, you go book him, and you throw him in jail. That's what you do. You don't send in counselors and play patty cake with them. Are you people out of your minds? You people must be completely out of your minds. My sister said that it's Trump. It's Trump that's causing the rioting and the looting. It's the Proud Boys that get in their Jeeps and their trucks that have American flags and Trump flags on their top of their trucks and that to go into these places that are rioting, and they're irritating people to make him riot more. Duh. I asked her, I says, before the quote unquote Proud Boys, how about patriots? Call them what they are, patriots, good guys. Before they were even Proud Boys, what about, just after Floyd was murdered and all this looting and fires and stuff, destruction in LA and different places were taking place before the Proud Boys even existed? Did Trump cause all that? Was he causing and stirring up all that kind of stuff? According to her, yes, he was. Trump is the cause of all the rioting. He doesn't want to work with any Democrats. He refuses to work with Democrats. He hasn't kept any of his campaign promises. Wow. It's unbelievable to me, I love my sister, but you cannot talk to her without her going crazy. If I say one thing, well, look, why don't you be glad at what President Trump has done? He's building the wall. He's helped the veterans. He's done this. He's done that. She wants no part of it. All she does is fight me. All she does is fight me. And when I'm trying to tell her my point of view, she talks over me. She talks over me. I love my sister, but I hate what she has become as far as her thinking and her narrow-mindedness of what is really happening in this country. There are so many people on Twitter and different social media sites that are wishing the demise of President Trump and his wife. They want them dead. It's just unbelievable to me. Who in the hell are these people? I'll tell you who these people are. These people have no God inside of them. They have Satan inside of them. I would never want a United States president dead. You don't have to agree with him. If you're so narrow-minded and have been so brainwashed that you don't agree with him, do you really wish him dead? Do you really wish the First Lady dead? Did Christ ever say, well, if you disagree with somebody, wish them dead? Did Christ ever say that? If he did say that, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it in the Bible. Point it out to me in the Bible. Anyway, it just frustrates me to no end how people think. And I, for one, wish President Trump the best. I don't think that there's another person that can save this country. God isn't going to force things. Man and women have their free agency to do good or to do evil, to love or to be complete assholes. God isn't going to force people to be good, or he's not going to force people to do good. Oh, President Trump, you know, in his early years, he was a womanizer or whatever. So what? President Kennedy, he was a womanizer, wasn't he? I thought he was a great president. And he was a Democrat. I thought he was a wonderful president. That's probably why they killed him. Yeah, did you ever think of that? Did you ever think of that, boys and girls? I think President Trump is a wonderful president. I don't care what he did in his early days. It's okay for President Clinton to get a blowjob under his desk, and he's still the great guy. And his wife Hillary is such a great person. You still haven't got over the fact that Hillary Clinton lost the elections. Just after the election was won by President Trump, there was rioting in the streets then. By who? By Democrats. That's who. Do you think that if Biden wins the election by hook or by crook, that the Republicans are going to riot? Do you think the Republican people are going to kill and loot and burn cities down because Biden won? There's a big difference between Republicans and Democrats. Shouldn't it be obvious to you, which is the better party? Which people are more decent? Anyway, getting back to President Trump, I think God sometimes picks, maybe all the time picks, people that you wouldn't expect that he would pick. Fishermen, to walk with him and to preach his gospel. Fishermen. I'm sure that those people and the other apostles and disciples weren't perfect. I don't think it's who you were that's important to God. I think it's who you are now and who you become that's the important thing to God. It's not who you were, it's who you become. And I think President Trump, even though he has his faults because it's a human being and he's used to winning, I like that in him. I like that he wants to win and he doesn't want China walking all over America with tariffs or whatever the problem is with the trade situation with China. And now they have to pay billions of dollars to the United States because they've been taking money away from America for years and years and years. Because no other president was tough enough to get tough enough with China. I like that in a president. I really do. So people, why don't you just have some love in your heart for a change and realize that President Trump maybe didn't have a perfect past. He might not be perfect now and some of the tweets that he does. Do you know why he does Twitter in the first place? For people out there that don't understand, that are just plain stupid, do you know why he does Twitter? Because the regular news media doesn't tell the truth about President Trump. They're biased against President Trump. That's why he does Twitter. to let people know what's really going on and what the truth is. That's why he does it. Yes, sometimes he doesn't, say things, or he says things that maybe he shouldn't say it. He's not perfect, boys and girls, but he's done so much for this country. All you have to do is look and open your blind eyes to know what President Trump has done. What is wrong with you people? It just blows my mind that that some of you people just don't get it. You look at what's happening to Portland. You look what happened to Seattle and different places. Do you want that for all of our country? Do you really think it's a wise idea to defund our police? Yeah, there's police out there that aren't perfect. I know that. I know that from experience. But the majority of police want to help. They want to, go into situations where there's criminal activities and put a stop to it. Democrats and Democratic run cities don't care about stuff like that. They don't care if people's lives are being ruined. They don't care if people are being shot in the cities, innocent people. They don't care about any of that stuff. If you people want that to be nationwide, then just vote Biden in, and within 6 or 8 months, good old Harris is going to replace Biden because Biden's got some real issues with his capabilities of doing anything. Can you imagine Biden going in and negotiating with a person, from another country like China or North Korea or somewhere? Can you imagine Biden, trying to negotiate with those people, or trying to fix the things that are wrong with trade, different things like China? Can you imagine Biden doing that? I can't. He doesn't even know if it's his sister or his wife that's standing next to him. He doesn't know what city or what state he's in when he gives some of his talks. And you want that as a president? You don't think President Trump would be better for our country? Are you people crazy? And the answer to that is yes, you are crazy. I told you a story one time, and I'll tell you again. I, well, when I was in high school, there was a girl in high school that I really had a crush on, and other guys had a crush on her too. She was one of the most beautiful, one of the cutest, most spunky girls in high school, and she was just so cute. She was adorable. Anyway, after high school, I dated her a few times. I taught her how to drive. I went down to a college that she was in, and went up to her. She came out of her dorm, and I taught her how to drive a car that had a clutch in it, and it was just fun. I have some good memories of her. Then I went on a mission for the LDS Church. Anyway, I came back from my mission and got married, not to her, but got married and kind of lost track of her. And I guess it was, I don't know, 40 years later, I was thinking about her and just kind of wondering, you know, how she was, what she's been up to. I was just curious. So I saw her uh, name on a high school website where we went to high school at. So I just called her up. No, I emailed her on an email address that she had on the high school website, and just said, I'm so and so. We dated a few times after high school, and just curious how you were, how you're doing. And she emailed me back and wanted my phone number, so I gave her my phone number, and she called me up, and she had gone through a divorce a few years before that. And she says, "Oh, you want to know how I am or how I was, how I've been doing?" I said, "Sure." So she told me about all this stuff. I could not believe what I was hearing, but she said that for since she was 5, that her parents, especially her dad, got her into a satanic cult. That her dad would go in her bedroom at night as young as 5 years old, take her out of her bed, take her into take her somewhere to this building of satanic cult members. And since 5, she would be involved in satanic rituals and cult things. Uh, she supposedly had been raped by thousands of men, things like that. She told me all these things that her parents did to her, that the cult did to her. They buried her alive in a coffin type thing, and said if you don't want to stay there, then you're going to have to do this. You're going to have to do that. All these things that she told me about, it just absolutely blew my mind what I was hearing. I says, well, I uh, I says, well, God, I had no idea you were going through this when I knew you in high school. She says, I didn't know it either, Ron. I says, what do you mean you didn't know it? She says, it wasn't until I went to counseling that I had a memory of what I had gone through during my childhood. It wasn't until the counselors, uh, I don't know what words that I should use, uh, repressed memories. I can't remember the terminology of it. But she says it wasn't until she went to counseling that she, started to remember all these things that happened to her. But she named all these things that happened to her, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Anyway, she wanted to meet me and just kind of, just meet me and see how, just talk about the good old days. So I remember the day that she came over to my house, and of course, in my mind, I was thinking about this spunky, cute uh, doll of a girl that was, 18 years old when we graduated. And so I opened the door, and there was a real fat, ugly woman standing at my front door. Of course, I wasn't as good looking as I was either, just by a little bit, though. Anyway, so I invited her in and we talked. So anyway, I was nice to her, and had a nice time, kind of reminiscing about the good old days when both of us were good looking, and anyway, so she started calling me, and on a regular basis, she called me and called me. Uh, she really drove me crazy, to a point. Sometimes she would call me. I'm not kidding you. She'd call sometimes 10 times a day. She'd call. I'd talk to her. 10 minutes later, she'd call me again. She wasn't all there, boys and girls. So anyway, I went through several years of that. I didn't want to tell her to get lost or tell her that I wasn't interested in her, because I didn't want to hurt her feelings, and I felt that she needed somebody to listen to her. So I literally spent hundreds of hours listening to her and giving her someone to talk to. And I'd take her out at times. She would embarrass the crap out of me because if I took her out to lunch, for instance, or to a restaurant, she'd want to walk in the restaurant arm in arm, and I didn't want to. She wasn't a girlfriend, but she wanted to do it arm by arm, and so I walked in, and she was embarrassing to me. She'd drop her napkins on the floor every time we went out to lunch or somewhere at a sit down place. She would always drop her napkins on the floor. Sometimes she would fart. I mean, she was unbelievable. I thought, I wasn't rolling my eyes to her, but inside I was rolling my eyes, and I said, "Oh my gosh, what have I got myself into? For heaven's sakes!" So anyway, she during the time that I was seeing her or talking to her on the phone, twice her family put her into a psych ward. One was a locked down facility to help her, try to get her some help that she needs because of her mental problems that she had. And of course, I was there. I remember one time that her counselors at the psych ward asked her if there was anybody that she trusted because she thought everybody was part of the cult. And they asked her if there's anybody that she knew or thought that she could trust that could come to a counseling session with her, because the counselor wanted to kind of talk about what was going on with this woman. And remember, her sister called me up one day, and she said, "Ron," she told me what the situation was. She says, when they asked this woman if there's anybody that she could trust, she said, "Ron." So her sister called me up and said, "Today's your lucky day, Ron, Vicky told the counselors that you're the only person that she wanted in this counseling session because you're the only woman, or you're the only person that she trusted." So anyway, I went to counseling. I went to the session with her and her counselors and different things. So I tried really hard to help her. And finally, she got out of this place, and before you know it, she went into another place. But I went to these places so she would have a friend. Sorry. That she would have somebody that she felt that cared about her. So then she got out again. Her family bought her a really nice condo. Her family's really rich. They bought her a really nice condo. So she's living there now. But through the process of her calling me all the time, she was, "Oh, Ron, I'm scared." "And what are you scared for? Why are you scared?" "Because when I go in the bathroom and get the shampoo, that there's, instead of shampoo being in the bottle, there's conditioner in the bottle. And that scares me. And same with the conditioner. The conditioner should be conditioner in the bottle. There's shampoo in that bottle. So the cult, according to her, the cult has come in and they've switched. Put the shampoo in the conditioner bottle, put the conditioner in the shampoo bottle, and they're trying to scare me, Ron, and I'm scared." I'll bet there's 50 things I could mention. Things like that. "Ron, I'm scared." "Why are you scared?" because there's cars going by in the daytime, and a lot of those cars have their lights on in the daytime. It's the cult. They're trying to scare me. I explained to her, I says, well, the way cars are built nowadays, a lot of cars just have their lights on in the daytime. It's kind of a safety thing, you know. I drive with my lights on, you know. So I tried it. So it was always constantly trying to explain things to her. Oh, Ron, I'm scared. Why are you scared? Well, school's over with, and I see a couple of boys that were walking down the sidewalk in front of the school. They were walking backwards. Ron, I said, look, they're just having fun. They're just goofing around. No, they're trying to scare me. It's the cult. There's Ron, I'm scared. Why are you scared? No, I was nice to her. I said, why are you scared? Because there's a garbage truck that went by my house, and then they went to the other houses. What did she say? Oh, she said there's a garbage truck that went past my house to the other houses and picked up garbage from the other houses, but not my house. And then about a half hour later, there was a second garbage truck that came and stopped in front of her house and picked up her garbage and then went down the street. It's the cult, Ron. The second garbage truck was the cult, the satanic cult, and they're trying to go through my garbage to get things to scare me. You know? I says, no, they're not. I says, there's two garbage trucks. One goes up the street getting regular garbage from people, and the second truck goes up the street and they get recycled items that are put in a recycled garbage can. You know, so all these things. I mean, like I said, there's probably 50 things that I could say. So anyway, try to wrap this thing up. So, I mean, we're almost in an hour, and I only wanted to talk for maybe 10 minutes. But anyway, I'll try to hurry this up. So remember the last time that we went to lunch, everything was fine. Everything was fine. And so I took her home. She says, Ron, would you like to come in for a few minutes? I said, okay. She had a really adorable little dog and a really sweet cat. Just such a sweet cat. And so I went in and played with her cat and her dog. And she went out in the kitchen. She says, Ron, would you like a drink? I said, sure. I said, what do you have? I've got orange juice. I've got this, that, the other. And she told me what she had. I says, well, I'll have a Pepsi. And I knew she was a really fussy about her furnishings that she had, and she was, you know, like a neat freak and different things, and panicked when, you know, was something out of place or whatever. So, and I knew because it was a canned drink that sometimes when you open the can, because of the carbonation, that sometimes it squirts out. So I asked her before she came into the front room, and she was still in the kitchen. I said, can you just open the can out there and then just bring it in to me? Oh, sure, because I didn't want to take the chance of having it squirt out and go on our coffee table or on the rug or whatever. I was thinking of her. So she came out. I had a little bit of the drink. We talked a bit more, and then I left. Everything was fine. Everything was A+ the whole time. Usually she calls me when I get home to see if I'm home okay, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, she didn't call. She didn't call to see, to thank me or, for the meal or whatever, or to see if I was home okay, whatever. Never didn't call me, so I called her back in, a couple of hours or whatever to see if she was okay. And she didn't answer the phone. It was 2 months. She did not answer her phone for about 2 months, or didn't call me for about 2 months. I called her mother. I says, "Is she okay?" As far as I know, she is. I said, I said, she doesn't call me. She doesn't answer me when I call her. Her mother says, "I don't know what's wrong." Now, I knew that there was a woman, and I just had, or I almost said her name. She had given me this woman that comes to visit her 2 or 3 times a week to clean her house for her, or to take her shopping and help her out that way. I knew what this woman's phone number was because my friend had given me this other person's phone number. So anyway, after about 2 months of not having that communication, I knew what days that this other person was helping her. So I called this other person's cell phone and I said, "This is Ron, so and so." I said, "I'm so and so's friend. I haven't heard from her for a couple of months, and she doesn't answer my calls and different things." I said, "Is she okay?" "Oh yeah, she's fine. She's right here." And I said, "Do you mind if I talk to her just for a sec?" "Oh, sure, no problem." She gave the phone to this other woman. "Hello?" I says, "Well, hi." I said, uh, "This is Ron. I haven't heard from you for so long. I just wondered if you're okay. I just wonder what was wrong." "I can't talk about it." I says, "What's wrong?" I mean, what do you mean you can't talk about it? What is it?" "It's so terrible, I can't talk about it. It's just so awful, I can't talk about it." I says, "Well, what is it? Did I do something wrong?" "I don't want to talk about it. It's just so awful, I can't talk about it." So anyway, uh, we ended the call. Anyway, later on, I finally found out from her, because after that one call, she'd called me, maybe a couple weeks later after that, and then she started talking to me again, as if nothing was wrong. And so I tried to get, what is wrong? What happened? What was wrong? Finally, she answered the question, and guess what she said, boys and girls? She said the reason that she didn't want anything to do with me is because I asked her to open up a can of Pepsi in the kitchen. Anyway, that was the reason that I opened her, of all things, I asked her to open up a can of Pepsi. So anyway, after hearing that, uh, I was upset. I didn't let her know that I was upset, but I was upset inside that I had spent years trying to be her friend, listening to her. I spent hundreds of hours listening to this woman talk about the cold. I spent hundreds of hours trying to help her, trying to reason with her, trying to be a friend to her, trying to let her know that I cared about her. And what does she do over something stupid? I was upset. I felt really bad inside that I had wasted, not just spent, but I had wasted hundreds of hours of my time trying to help her, and it backfired on me. I shouldn't have ever done it. I was upset that I wasted hundreds of hours. And I'll never forget. Sorry. I'll never forget a voice a voice that came to me, and it said, Ron, you haven't wasted all that time because you haven't wasted all that time because you have done those things to me. Anyway, it reminded me of a place in the Bible that says, if you do this to the least of my people or the least of my brother, and I can't remember the exact words, if you do this to the least of them, you have done it unto me. And I heard those things. I heard those words. I can't deny that I heard those words. And after hearing those words, I felt so much better inside. I had so much more peace that I hadn't wasted all those years and all those hundreds of hours trying to help somebody that was ungrateful. And God has given me the peace that I needed over that situation that I had. Anyway, I've had lots of different things that that have been miracles in my life. That some I will touch on, and some things I won't. Things that have happened to me, miracles. And I know that God lives. I know that Jesus is the Christ, that he died on the cross for all of us, that he atoned for our sins. And the most scary thing I think that I've ever gone through in my life is what I'm going through now, and that's being old. You know, I have probably 5 to 10 years to live. Do I want to just live 5 or 10 years? Heavens no. I'd like to live, 50 years more, but I'm not going to. But it's probably the scariest thing I've ever done in my life is to be in a situation where I know that the handwriting's on the wall that I'm not going to be around much longer. I mean, it's just a fact. So I know that I want to spend the rest of my life trying to get right with my Creator. There's nothing more important in my life right now than to be worthy enough and living with my Heavenly Father again. And I hope that everybody, all of you out there, will feel the same as I do now, even though you're younger than I am, that you can realize beforehand, before you get old, that you have to start doing things now in preparation of dying. Death never makes an appointment with anybody. I'm sure everybody probably knows of a family member, a friend, associate, somebody that's died early, too early, as a child, as a teenager. Death does not make an appointment. It comes as a thief in the night, and you have to be ready and have that love of God and Jesus Christ tucked away inside your heart and in your mind. And yes, there's stuff that's going on in this world that is scary, that will be scary. Probably the worst is yet to come. And it scares a lot of us. It scares most of us. Except people that are evil, that don't care about their fellow man. They don't care about the golden rule. They don't care about the 10 Commandments. They don't care about their brothers and sisters. They're selfish, evil people. And Satan and his demons are rejoicing. And Heavenly Father is sad that he's losing you or has lost you to sin. And I think there's people out there that really need to get right with God. You need to change your life. And just start being kind. How hard is it to just be kind to somebody? Is it difficult to open up the door to a store to an older person, or to help someone that's partially blind find something, to help an elderly person with yard work, or uh, just something? I think that if you people look for opportunities to help people, regardless of where you find them, that you're going to feel so much better inside. Every single thing that I do in life to help somebody always comes back several fold to me. I'll tell you sometime, maybe, about how I know that that's true. You help somebody, you do a kind deed, it comes back to you. It's like a boomerang, I guess, in a sense. You swing it out there and it comes back to you. But the blessings that come back to you is overwhelming at times. I cannot tell you how many blessings that I have had in my life and am still having in my life, and how many miracles I've had in my life. Do I deserve those things? No, I don't. But I try every day to be better than I was the day before. And if each of you do that, you're going to be so much more happier just being good, just trying to do one thing during each day to be kind to somebody else and to look out for people that are in need. Anyway, that's my hour plus sermon. Anyway, I hope that everybody's doing okay. I hope that the people that are in need of special blessings, I hope that you get those blessings. And you have to have faith, you have to have hope, and you need to pray. Heavenly Father wants to bless you because He loves you. But He wants you to come to Him. Don't you want your children to come to you? Don't you want your children to come to you when they're scared? Or when they need help? Just think about it. Your Heavenly Father is right there waiting for you to come to Him.